What's up, folks? Yo-Jo June has arrived, and in today's episode, we'll take a closer look at a brand new upcoming figure, and we'll give our final thoughts and ratings on some of the latest G.I. Joe Classified releases. Folks, this is one of our most explosive and fun episodes to date, so get comfortable and watch until the end. And let's get right into it, because first up, we're going to discuss a brand new reveal for Yo-Jo June. We've been telling you since the start of the year that 2 more deluxe figures are on the way this year. The first one is Budo, and this is your official preview. Honor meets firepower in this Modern Warrior's ultimate upgrade, and we think you'll agree. Budo isn't just a warrior, he's a walking code of honor. He's a samurai who descended from a long line of martial artists and spiritual defenders. While most Joes rely on cutting-edge tech, Budo draws strength from centuries-old traditions. His mastery of the blade, unshakable discipline, and deep respect for the battlefield make him one of the team's most centered and unpredictable fighters. He's the guy who meditates before a mission, then charges into enemy territory like a one-man army. Hasbro's Classified series takes things to the next level with this deluxe Budo figure, delivering a killer mix of classic and modern aesthetics. This is more than a figure, it's an evolution. Whether you're a longtime fan of the vintage line, or new to the Classified series, this version of Budo stands tall, with an impressive suite of gear that tells a story all its own. In terms of the armor, what can I say? 2 swappable looks, 1 fierce warrior. There's the traditional samurai armor. This set leans hard into Budo's heritage. The Kabuto helmet features menacing red demon detailing and a silver crest, giving the figure a war-ready intensity. Layered chest armor, skirted plating, shin guards, and a thick ropey fur cloak complete the look. The sculpted textures look authentic, capturing the grit of ancient battlefield gear. For longtime fans of Budo and his vintage look, I would argue that this captures him so well. Then there's the modern tactical armor, for when the mission calls for stealth, speed, and bulletproof mobility. The modern-day chest rig comes in a black and brown color scheme, with tactical pouches and armored sleeves. The updated look blends military realism with a nod to traditional design, like a samurai reborn for the 21st century. This is what the Classified series should be all about. Sensible modern-day updates. Now let's break down the accessories. This figure is absolutely loaded. There are 2 alternate heads, one with a top knot bun, the other with flowing samurai locks. Both fierce, and both full of character. With these 2 head sculpts, it will be very hard to pick a favorite look. Then over to the arsenal of weapons. There are 3 swords, katana style, with sheaths for different display options. There's also Dusty's rifle, a modern automatic weapon for ranged combat. A pistol from Agent Helix, which is a sleek sidearm that fits snugly in the included holster. There's a red scarf and face guard to customize Budo's battlefield silhouette, a weapon belt, and twin back scabbards that allow for stylish loadouts. And there's an elaborate samurai helmet and battle mask, sculpted with striking detail. Hasbro sculpting and digital render work are both sharp here. The layers of armor show depth and wear. The textures on the traditional garb feel tangible and weighty, while the modern tactical gear looks rugged and practical. The articulation looks solid, of course, and that makes this ideal for dynamic posing, whether you're going full Bushido or kicking doors down. Based on the digital render, the paint app suggests strong contrast between armor sets without veering into fantasy cosplay territory, and that's important for realism. Here's my final take. This deluxe version of Budo is a stunning entry in the Classified series. An action figure that blends artful storytelling with smart design. Whether you display him fully armored like an ancient warrior or outfitted for modern combat, this deluxe figure gives fans an arsenal of display possibilities. This one's a must-have for collectors who appreciate both character legacy and cutting-edge figure engineering. But now, let's turn this over to you for a moment for your reaction to Budo. Is this the kind of deluxe figure you want to see more of from G.I. Joe Classified? Or are you not interested? Either way, we'd love to know your thoughts and why. So whatever side of the fence you're on, we want to hear from you. If you're enjoying this, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. Next, some brand new spoilers for Yo-Jo June. Keep an eye out for several new figures and renders, including the following: Budo, Crankcase and the Awe Striker, the Slice and Dice 2-pack, Night Viper, Sci-Fi, Flash, Wetsuit, Mercer and Sergeant Slaughter, and more. Stay tuned to Viper Island for continued full coverage and more spoilers. Next, we're going to wrap up some of the latest releases before we turn our full attention to Yojo June. This is a fun, brand new discussion, which I'll admit does get a bit wild at times. And we're going to start with one of the most polarizing figures in the entire Classified series so far, Darklon. Let's talk about the details on Darklon. I know you're not a big fan, so let's go along with this. How about that sword? That's a nice sword.
It's a nice sword. What the heck is that holster, though?
I like the holster. It's got a leather strap.
Why is it yellow? What's the yellow there from, guys?
It's like an orangey yellow that matches his pants, right? So they're trying to
doesn't match his pants. I'm pulling those pants off and throwing them in the garbage if I get this figure. Tossing the whole thing off. Only thing I'm keeping is the head and the sword, not even the sword holder.
We've had some interest in your opinions now that this came out, and people were thinking, oh, I bet you Dex was the first one to line up and buy Darklon.
Mark my words, when this guy comes out, all of the spray paint is going to go out of stock because people are going to want to spray and paint this guy so fast.
I still disagree with you there. I see what you're saying. Like, I'm not going to deny that the contrast of colors is just whack, but I like it, and I'm also used to him looking this way, so I kind of am just down for the ride now at this point. So we've already gone through a review of Darklon. We know what Dex's feelings are on Darklon, and mine have not changed. I still like this figure. Now that we've seen the diorama images, I'm still down with this. I love the head sculpt. I love both head sculpts. All of the blades, I think they did a fantastic job. Everything metallic about Darklon is a win.
It's a really good figure if you take out the legs and the torso.
You had me with the first few words there. Okay, it's a really good figure. I agree, Dex.
Look at the diorama photos. Amazing photo. Photoshop the green, orange, all those colors. Take them all out, just keep the black, red, and gray or silver. Perfect figure.
There you go.
Head sculpt, weapons, that's it. Torso, legs, horrible.
What if they're a different color, right? Like if we have a dark tone with blacks and grays and like more of like a midnight type of Darklon, that wouldn't work? I think it would.
Because of this monstrosity, Hasbro needs to make this figure 50% off.
Now, I'm okay with that. Now, I did not order this guy yet, so I haven't ordered...
No one should have. If you did, I feel sorry for you. Sorry. They better have a, apology note in your, order.
I'll say this. Here in Canada, Darklon is sold out. How about that? Sold out. Yeah. Now, I'm not worried about it, because we'll get restocks down in the future, because this is a mainline wave figure.
You don't need a restock. They should not restock this. One-time thing.
They're gonna need to restock it, because I didn't order it yet, because as I've learned with most mainline wave figures for G.I.JOE Classified...
Yeah, you should wait for the black version. All black.
I'm down for that. I'd buy that too, and I would buy this one, but I'm waiting for a sale, because these ones, they do sit around. All the mainline wave figures from the past year are still available, including retro figures, so it's basically... Why pre-order at this point unless it's an exclusive or unless you really want it and think that it might sell out? This is not... I mean, it's sold out here
This
in Canada,
isn't even worth it. Waste of money. What the heck?
To each their own.
I would prefer buying 45 Flints than being forced to buy one Darklon. Flint is horrible. At least I can throw out the head and still have something to use, like a body. This, there's nothing to save. One head sculpt, what are you going to use that for?
Great head sculpt, though.
Yeah, one head sculpt. What are you going to do that?
Two great head sculpts, actually. I like both of them. So when this goes on sale, I'll pick them up. But there's no rush anymore. So
it's going to go on sale probably next week.
I would look forward to that. And if it goes down to 50%, that would be great. I don't see a need to rush out and get a lot of these. But again, the retail exclusives, those are going to sell out. And of course, the vehicles as well. That's hit or miss.
Horrible figure.
Overall, I think it's great.
If I ordered this and my package got either blown up or lost, I wouldn't be sad. I'd be excited.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
I would be happy. If someone tried, if someone robbed me, stole it off my porch, pirated, they would probably return it to me. I would bet money that they would return it to me. No one wants this.
I do. And apparently a lot of people in Canada do, because this is sold out in Canada.
Maybe you bought all of them.
For now. No, I didn't buy a single one yet. I didn't order any of these
That's
from this
a good
wave.
thing.
I'm leaving them. Look, the mainline wave figures, like I said, they will be available plentiful by the time the release date comes around. And then they'll be available for at least a year or two after that. I can still go out and get, like, the original Tomax and Zaymot or Stalker and pay, like, almost half or 2/3 of the price that it came out originally as. So, like,
no one should pay a dime for this. Maybe $1 most.
$1. Well, at least you'd be buying it then, Dex.
You'd have to pay me to buy that. Or to even, like, accept it. I wouldn't even buy it. You'd have to pay me, like, minimum $50 to even, like, look at it or touch it in person. I'm not touching that or looking at that.
Well, how about we get to the ratings then and give our final ratings of Darklon. I think I gave this guy somewhere around an 8.8 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 9. I like this guy. I like it in terms of who Darklon is. It looks like Darklon. That matters. The colors could have been changed and I wouldn't have complained. But whatever. We're getting the vintage style Darklon, so I like it. Giving it a 9 out of 10. Dex, has your opinion on this guy changed?
Yes. Yes, it has.
Okay. I think you gave him, what, a 1 out of 10 last time?
It was like a 1 or a 2. One of those two. It has changed, though, in my opinion. It's now a -10. Lowest rated G.I. Joe of all time. I don't think anything could even compete with this kind of monstrosity. They pretty much grabbed 3 different figures. One of them was good, one of them was bad, and one of them was horrible. One of them looks like a ketchup bottle, one of them looks like lettuce, and one of them looks like an army guy. Pick a figure, Hasbro. You got a good head sculpt, horrible weapons, horrible torso, horrible legs. -10.
It sounds like your issue is not necessarily with Hasbro itself, but with Hasbro's G.I. Joe's team decision to keep the colors the same.
Yes. Like, what the heck? Don't even sell the figure. Why'd they even keep it? Don't even change the colors.
That is one criticism that is valid. From time to time, they don't always have to give us the same exact figure with the same exact colorway. You don't have to give us the
figure. Don't even change the colorway.
Hold on. I'm making a point here. You don't have to give us the same way it was originally designed in the 80s, because who's to say that was perfect? Yeah, we recognize and identify with some of those characters and figures, but you can also improve on them. Hasbro's been good about improving on some figures. This is a case where I think Dex, yeah, maybe we could have switched up some colors, made it a little less too contrasted, right? Because, like, there's so much clash here with the colors. Be that as it may, they went with the vintage style, so I understand why they did it. But there are opportunities where they can say, you know what? We can do better than what we got in the 80s. All respect to the people who designed and colored those figures back then. Great, cool. Times change. I'm still a fan of Darklon.
How were you a fan of this when you were a kid? How?
I was a big fan of this guy. Look, this guy came out in, what, 1989, I think? It's not like we had a lot of great fashion sense in 1989.
I can tell, clearly.
There was, like, spandex was big, neon colors were big.
Horrible toys were a thing. What the heck is this?
All right. I think we've covered Darklon more than enough here. So you're giving him a -10. All right.
Flint is probably happy this guy came out. He's like, I finally get a break now.
Not much of a break.
No, not much. But it's better than what he was getting before.
Okay.
He at least has a buddy to, like, talk to now. They can, like, talk to each other, have, like, little, like, sessions where they're, like, crying to each other. Next, Frag Viper. This looks like an alley viper mixed with, like, the Predator.
Yeah, that mask looks very alien-like, doesn't it? I like
and he's
that
like
helmet.
Doc Ock with the big, like, arm things.
Yeah. That's a tube that feeds grenades into his weapon, where he launches these grenades in the air. They've got some blast effects sort of things attached to the grenades, like smoke.
Looks cool, though.
He does look pretty cool. So under that helmet that we're both a big fan of is...
That looks disgusting. Lost me on there. Horrible figure.
Hold on.
Take back all my things. That is horrible. I said earlier, put Flynn's head on Darklon, worst figure ever. Put this head on Darklon, horrible figure. What is this? I don't
He's a cyborg.
What the heck is that?
I like the eyes. I like the paint apps. I like the way it was sculpted. I think like it's pretty damn good. But
he looks like he's that guy from Star Wars. Oh, Emperor Palpatine. That's what he looks like.
Okay.
What the heck is this? What is this? Hasbro's on a roll here, guys. Worst figures ever.
I don't think you can look at that head sculpt and say that's a bad head sculpt. You
That's
might
a
not
horrible
look,
head sculpt.
What don't you like about it though? Like the colors or what?
What the heck is that color? You guys gotta change that. What is that? Take out that head sculpt. What are these colors? You got orange and blue, and you're putting in...
And brown.
Here's the thing. Hasbro, they're doing some good things. You gotta know where to put it, though. This head sculpt would probably be fine on, like, someone that's all black, or, like, a Snake Eyes. If you put this on Snake Eyes, it would probably look good. It looks disgusting and looks like a monstrosity with this. What the heck? It looks like the Terminator from Temu. What the heck?
Temu Terminator. That's not bad, Dex. I think you're helping Hasbro out with some marketing ideas there. The Frag Viper is a Temu Terminator. I like it. Why not? Yeah, you're not wrong about that, because the Terminator guys usually don't have much expression. This guy doesn't really have any.
Clearly no taste in style, too. What the heck? Orange and blue.
And brown.
And brown, what the heck? Dark Lawn over here. Buddies.
It's another instance where Hasbro took what was done in the 80s. I don't understand this, though.
Unbeatable trio. This guy, Frag Viper, Dark Lawn, and Flint. Untouchable.
So this is your favorite wave?
Worst three of all time. Worst wave
Footloose.
ever. Worst wave ever made. Period. In the comments, tell me a worse wave.
I like Azuzi's.
Looks like Pinhead.
Yeah. He does look like Pinhead. You're totally right. Oh, but let me get back to that point I was going to make. I don't know why Hasbro feels, okay, this came out in 1989. We're going to make it exactly the same. You can do that for the retro card wave.
Yeah, not this. What
Innovate.
the heck is this?
If it's your job and it's your dream job to work on G.I. Joe figures and create them for a living for Hasbro, wouldn't you want to put your own stamp on it?
Yeah.
And say, this is what I think a Frag Viper should look like.
Not what the heck.
And then
is like.
give us something like this for the retro card line. But in the meantime, if you don't like the brown and the orange, and especially with the blue, I mean, the blue and the orange do go well together color-wise.
It looks good for Alley Vipers, not what... You gotta pick your colors.
But, again, like, they didn't have to follow every colorway that was decided by other people who worked in Hasbro decades ago. It's not like that's the gospel. And we have to just keep with those colors and keep with the same design.
Hire me. Perfect.
They're not going to.
Their revenue will quadruple if I go there. Mark my words. Hire me, everything goes up. Not even joking. If they hired me, took all my ideas, they would have 4 lines in a row that are sold out. Every single figure.
I can definitely agree that it would be better than this in terms of the colorway. This is popular with some people, though, right? Some people looked at this and thought, wow, this is way better than I thought it would be. And you clearly feel the opposite way. But,
horrible. What the heck? Like, the other head sculpt, the main, like, mask, looks cool.
Yeah, that helmet's awesome.
It doesn't really fit, though, that much. I wasn't going to hate on it when I first saw it, because I'm like, it looks cool. You can always, like, kit bash and, like, put it on other heads. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the other head sculpt, and I was like, you lost me there. Horrible figure. What is this?
I like a lot of the little details.
I don't like that. What is that?
I don't like the figure, but I appreciate the details.
They have all these opportunities to make an amazing figure, and they all then they just throw it away because some guy in the 80s decided to make some ugly figure. I don't care what a guy in the 80s did.
I agree, with some exceptions. Law and Order has to look like Law and Order, right?
Like, if they're a good
General
figure,
Hawk has to look like General Hawk.
If people talk about the figures and how much they love it, keep it. If no one I didn't know this guy existed.
He's not a major character.
If people don't love it and are begging for the figure, you don't have to change it if they're begging for it. If they don't ask for it, change it. There's a reason they're not asking for it.
Yeah, the minor characters like a Frag Viper might be cool. You can make it cooler. You don't have to just say, I'm going to rehash what was made in the 80s. That's a very robotic way of going about toy creation. And they do take stabs from time to time at improving characters or whatever, but I guess they're a really big fan of what they did in the 80s.
Are they trying to see how much money they can lose on this, like, wave? They're like, how much money can we lose? We'll put 2 of the worst figures of all time in one line together.
They're clearly not getting your money, Dex.
No. What is, like, oh my god.
So, I think it's time for ratings. What would you give Frag Viper out of 10?
1.
Oh my god.
1. It's still a cool idea, though. I like that. Why the orange and blue, though? That ugly, disgusting monstrosity of a head sculpt could have looked even, like, okay if they just switch the colors. This is where Hasbro's losing, like, my money. Oh my god, what are they doing here? What are they doing here?
I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10.
New category unlocked for the G.I. Joe Awards. Worst figures of all time. It's gonna have more candidates than it does for the best figure of the year.
Yeah, we didn't do the G.I. Joe Awards this past year for 2024 because started December. I broke my back in 2 places, so I'm good now. But yeah, I wasn't really in the mood to be doing a long episode of G.I. Joe Awards of the Year. But
well,
you're saying that we have to do it this?
Yes, we will be doing it this year, and stay tuned for that, guys. There's a new category, Worst G.I. Joe Figure of the Year, and there's 10 open spots. I bet you they'll exceed that.
Oh my god. Well, I'm going to give Frag Viper a 7 out of 10.
We're 3 months in, and they've made 2 horrible figures. 3 months in 2025.
But that's just because it's the 80s characters that they just rehashed. Again, it's like the G.I. Joe team right now doesn't want to have any autonomy and say, we're doing our own thing. Don't care what we did in the 80s. We'll give you that with the retro card line, which is why that line exists, right? Is to give you what we got in the 80s.
Yeah.
For the mainline wave, put your own stamp on it. Make it different, make it unique, improve on it, and give us something that actually says this is what we think it should be now in 2025 and beyond. I don't know. That's just my take on it. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if you just want rehashes only. And you say everything that was done in the 80s was absolutely perfect. Every single figure can't be improved upon. If that's how you feel, sure. All good. But otherwise, what are we doing here? And hopefully let's land on a good positive note here with one of my all-time favorites that I'm very excited for, Law and Order.
Law and Order, they look amazing in the action shots. All the different, like, the Uzi has so many different colors on it. Perfect.
Yeah. And that vest overlay, we've talked about it before, but it's even more detailed than the digital renders showed. There's so much more detail overall. I love the rugged pants. Like, he's Outback, right?
And the Uzi fits in the holster now.
I know, like, on the leg. A leg holster for the Uzi. What are we doing? This is awesome.
I know. It looks awesome.
And it
the
gets
walkie-talkie, too.
That's on one side of him. On the other side, he's got a hook or a loop for his nightstick to go in. On the back, he's got 2 sets of handcuffs. One where they're wrapped up. I don't think that's removable, though. I think that's sculpted in.
It looks sculpted in. Perfect. I love it so much.
I agree. I think he's outstanding. He looks like Law. Order looks like Order. Such a good German Shepherd, too. I wasn't sure exactly how they do it or if there'd be a lot of reuse from timber. Great figure, great animal, great accessories, really good head sculpt. I can't say enough good things about this guy, Dex. That's a great looking helmet, and that's the one that he came with back in the day. This is not a figure that needs to be modernized. Now, Dex, we've talked about this guy a lot, so let's just jump right to our final ratings for Law and Order. I think I originally gave him a 9.9. I'm going to stick with the 9.9.
I'm going to give him a 9. Really good figure. Love everything about it.
Now, we've talked in the past about this, and I think you brought it up, and then some of our viewers agreed with you, and there have been a bunch of people saying that Law looks a lot like me. I still don't know if that's the case.
It looks a little bit like you. Not the hair so much, but...
No, not the hair. Totally different shade. Overall, I kind of see some resemblance there.
It is pretty cool, because it's your favorite figure, so...
Yeah, so I think there'll be some paint going on his hair. We're going to be changing him to like a dirty blonde, and we'll see what he looks like in the end. But overall, what a great figure. What a great animal. What a great set. I can't wait for this guy. Any final thoughts on Law & Order?
Perfect figure.
How excited are you for when we get to unbox this guy and you open up the box?
It's going to be so
take
cool,
him out,
though.
like Law & Order's
the
right in your hands.
walkie-talkie, like the cord for the walkie-talkie, everything about him. Awesome figure.
I can't wait. This is going to be a great moment when we get this guy. I did order Law & Order. This is one that I wasn't going to take a chance on. And there you have it. You've made it to the end of this episode, and we really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. And we would love it even more if you take just 1 second of your time. Make sure that down below you are subscribed to the channel. We ask that you do, because that guarantees that we definitely get to see you back here again next time. Thanks for tuning into Viper Island, your one-stop shop for all things G.I. Joe. When there's relevant news, we'll be here to discuss all of it, together with you. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, have a great day, and Yo Joe!